In today's episode, we're going to be talking about what type of warehouse you should get based on your budget. So stay tuned to learn more about it. Before we get in the show, we just want to give a shout out to the links in the description. Make sure you check those out. Those really help support the channel. And also the ultimate checklist. If you haven't got it, go ahead and request it. We got a link down there now that you can actually just go straight to request.
Are you sure?
Yes, it's down there.
Because I had a person say, "Where's the link at?"
It's in the comments, or it'd be in the first comment.
Okay.
So we got that situated. So there's a lot of good information in here. We've already had quite a few people who've already submit stuff out to us to ask for it. And today we're going to talk about one of the sections in there, which is what type of warehouse to choose from. So we're going to let Mr. Warehouse,
Dun, 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 dun.
Storage King, start it off.
So I think I think the majority of the crowd. By the way, this is in the ultimate checklist. So the majority of the people that just starting off don't have a huge budget, but their house does have a garage. We'll probably go with this option. Right off the bat, I think everybody knows the pros is the cost of it, because if you're paying rent or
it's free.
It's pretty much it's free. It's just whoever, if you have a wife, she's unfortunately not going to be able to park her car inside the garage. It's now become a commercial asset. So it's low cost. It's conveniently located, so you can just wake up and
get straight to work.
Straight to work. It's right there, and it's not. You don't have to drive around town or get stuck in traffic trying to meet somebody to do a job. And then also the same thing is easy access. Other companies, sometimes you have to travel far, or worst case scenario, the next thing, if you had a storage, you don't pay that rent, you get locked out. But on this one, obviously, you'll be just fine. Just it's right there. The cons, I think everybody knows, it's kind of small.
Yeah, in case you got one of those huge garages out in the country, and it's a barn, those ones perfect.
Yeah, and I started off with the garage. It wasn't bad. It just, you have to be very organized. Tables, chairs, and we even did bounce houses as well.
Yeah, people were coming outside. I told them, this guy's a hoarder. He's hoarding chairs and tables. He's a prepper.
The only thing I would say about the garage, if you do customer pickups, just expect random people to just be on your door, hello, I have an emergency. I need some tables and chairs.
I'm sorry, sir. It's 2 a.m. in the morning.
And then the cops are like, what are you selling out of that garage here? Oh, just tables and chairs. Okay. But yeah, pretty much it's not too bad. Just one thing that I did, when I first started off, I put my house on Google Maps. Yeah. And like I said, just random people will just come up to you. But if you don't want that to happen, then don't do it.
Yeah. So also besides just the garage, if it's going to be the free area, if you have a shed in the backyard, if you have a barn, or you even have a spare room that you can get easy access in and out, you can start there. Depending on what you're starting with, you can do that. If you have a dining room and you have nothing in there and you want to put throne chairs in there, that might just be what you have to do. Mm-hmm. You have to find a way. It should be, at first when you're starting out, if you have a space and you have an extra room, you should start there. It shouldn't be an excuse on pricing and stuff like that. No. Garage is obviously way better because you can drive up, pull up, do what you got to do. A shed that has a garage on it is even better, too. Even better than the garage. But just having that in order, because you really need to, when you first start off, it is best that you can start reaping the benefits early and use that money to reinvest before you start growing even more. Now, if you're someone like me, I was living in an apartment, so obviously there's no garages. I know some people, some apartments got garages, mine did not have garages. And I sure couldn't put no tables in and out on this small
going up and down the stairs. Oh my God, my back.
Yeah, you can't be doing that. So I didn't do that. So I went out and I found the cheapest storage that was literally right behind the apartments I was living in, so I can be able to get there fast. Because no matter what you choose, proximity is going to be the best thing ever. There's nothing like being able to get somewhere really fast and get it done. And the further you move the warehouses out, the less likely something happen, or even less likely you can want to go to it. No one wants a 2-hour or 45-minute commute each way.
Yeah.
No one really wants that on there.
And on top of that, what you call it? What was I going with that? Never mind.
On top of what?
No, never mind. I was gonna
Top
say
of the-
something. I was gonna say something. I was going about
How many
hours.
chairs did you have in there when you were there?
What in the
garage?
The garage?
Yeah.
I think like 200. They could have done more, but
Tables?
Tables was like 20. I had the fold in half, so like 20 tables, something like that.
20 tables?
Yeah.
On there. And you had that big dolly, the yellow dolly.
Oh yeah, big
that
yellow.
you had like a 80 stack on.
Oh, yeller. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That was it.
On
That
there.
was
So
fun.
you can put a decent amount of stuff. Most of you guys, what you're going to be starting with is going to be enough to do that. Specifically, if you're just doing tables and chairs, you should be pretty set for a while. I'm guessing you can at least probably get up to 400 chairs and like maybe like 40, 50 tables.
Yeah, give or take.
Something like that. Depends on what your garage. If now, eventually, whoever had that garage space is going to want that garage back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's when you can go to the next step. If you're doing enough business, you can skip this step. But most people will probably just head over to the next step. You want to find your local storage unit. So let's go into this right here. Eddie
Yeah.
didn't really like. I mean, we still even when we
I
had
didn't
a place,
really like it because it was just kind of weird, you know. Then on top of that, someone broke in our storage unit.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Nope.
Oh, it was just a trailer. I'm joking.
No, but yeah, just I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing. But I mean, you did it, and you did just fine. Um,
Yeah, but it's because at the time we had a actual a place, a warehouse, and we had one. Having two places is just no go.
Yeah.
On that part, especially when you can't be there all the time and you got to put extra stuff that you may need in there. But when I did it, I started off with a 10 by 15.
What was that big one that you had last?
That was like a something by 30 something, but like two
That
of
thing
those.
was huge.
Yeah, like a 15 or something by 30.
When I saw it, I was like, wow, this is nice.
Yeah.
You know, I got two. I'm like, oh my gosh. He's doing it.
No, but at first I had a 10 by 15.
No.
And to be honest, I could have put more stuff in there if I was able to, if I didn't have to put the trailers in there. Because I didn't have a place to leave the trailers out there. And I should have just got maybe another space. But I paid for that one, I think it was like $70, $80. And realistically, so it's basically the size of like a garage you
Yeah.
have on there. And you can put everything you kind of need in there and you don't have any issues. And it's right next to my house, so it'll take 2-3 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
As long as you cut through that road with all those bumps on there that be destroying people's suspension.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
really
yeah, I
suspension.
remember. At my trailer, I'm like, my door.
Yeah. Oh, you're so sad. But it was like that. But then from there, because the good thing about storage is you can do different, like just, you can go up different ways on there. So one thing that I like about it, cut this thing off. One thing that I like about it is on there is that like, you can, it's levels to it. So like I started with a 10 by 15. You could start with a 10 by 10. Maybe that's like $100, $50, depending on your area.
Yeah.
And then I moved from there to, I got into a was it like a 15 by like 30 something or 40 something maybe. And then that worked very well on there. And then if you want to scale up more, you do another one. And there was a lot of companies out there that were working out of the storage unit, so it was kind of understood. And they had 24-hour surveillance, all this stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you have to pay for the 24-hour access, or you get locked into there, which is always interesting. And then there's on the other companies that were there was lawn care companies, there was a plumbing company,
Yeah.
and then there was like a carpenter type company
Yeah.
that was working inside of there. And then like I know like my mom, she got the storage down in Tampa. Her storage is huge. Her storage is like 1,000 square feet. Has electricity, has a heater in there. It's like many warehouses that Public Storage does.
Oh, nice.
And you can get mail sent there. So basically, I mean, if you're going to start someplace and we found someplace, that would be like the place to start. Because you can literally work out of it. And then they allow you, if you have those, to have separate bathrooms that you can get into. Sounds pretty good on there.
That's cool.
I don't know why this thing keeps jumping.
Now, one thing I do remember is that the only thing that kind of is kind of a bummer is sometimes like I'll give you an example. Let's say something catastrophic happened, like somebody rammed the front gate and now the door is all messed up and now nobody can come in and go out. These things are like they happen. I've been in a situation, but it was like extra storage and it wasn't that same day. We had some I think heaters in there. We needed to get them out, and we couldn't get to it because they were like, "Oh, sorry, the door that opened up, they had to let everybody in and out." It's currently damaged, and unfortunately, it's probably gonna be tomorrow. You can come in and get your stuff.
Yeah.
And that would kind of suck if you had to do a job to do that same day. Same thing whenever it iced, because at another storage place, it was like sloped down, and they said nope, nobody can go in there because for insurance purposes, because like once you get down there, it's like a skating ring, and you're gonna be bouncing all over the place, damaging stuff. So just to keep in mind on that too, like you're kind of limited on accidents or the weather. So because like if they say it's shut down, there's nothing you can do. You can try to jump the fence or do whatever, but you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
And then so it's just a risk since it's kind of out of your hands. Like you're renting something that other person has the ability to say you can't go anywhere. And then we actually had somebody break into one of ours. And they took.
I've been told.
Yeah, and they took a couple stuff. But another thing is they make you buy insurance when you first sign up. Just FYI, don't think if steal it, they're gonna replace it, because they don't. What they do is they give you like a percentage of what the value of the thing is. And so I think it was like
70% or
something. Nah, not even that. I think it was like 60. And I was like, what? I can't even go back and buy the items. And they were like, oh, it's because we got to take a depreciation of the items. And I was like, that's nice and all, but I still I don't have my items.
Yeah. But at least we got the items back, because we've got stuff stolen before and never got nothing.
Yeah, you're right. So just take that in consideration, because it does.
Or
happen.
get your own one, because the next insurance one that we did, which is linked down there below too if you need something. The next insurance, they just when the employee stole from us at the other warehouse, they just gave us the money. Yeah, they just gave us the amount back with the taxes and stuff.
Oh yeah, if you have your own insurance,
maybe that's the best way to go.
That is the best way to go. I wouldn't get the storage unit. Insurance is like I said.
Yeah, or get both of them.
Or you can get both of them. I'm just saying,
Double up.
It's you're not gonna get much on the other one. So, but yeah, just something in the FYI, just because it has happened to us. Besides that, what's on here as well?
What's the cons we got? What's the cons?
The cons, costly, especially for long-term rentals.
Yeah, it's costly from the per square footage.
Yeah.
You're gonna spend more just because than like you're buying a warehouse, because in that part, because literally when we moved from the two warehouses that I had, were literally the same cost as the Irving warehouse, even though there's less space on there.
Yeah. And then rent can always go up too.
Rent will go up. It's already planned.
Yeah.
But a good thing is right here that the storage units are month to month. So if you need to get out, you can get out at any point in time you want to. Mm-hmm. If you don't pay on the storage unit, they will take your stuff. So if you got $50,000 worth of stuff in there, we'll be gone.
Yep. They're gonna put a little lock on it
and
you cannot enter.
And then
you have to get the sawzall and cut that lock off.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm just playing.
If you can even get back into the facility.
Well, you got to wait till somebody comes in that has access. Not just playing.
This is obviously limited spaces.
Limited space.
It's because it was hard for me to get two next to each other because they were already kind of sold out, which is good if you're in the storage business. So it works out for you on there. A lot of places that I looked at didn't actually want people working out of them. Yeah. The place behind us was very specific, and took me a while to find it. They had the 2 access gates. They had really hills over there, except for that little bump thing they got that you know.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the bump thing. But and they allowed you to work out of them. You can't live in them, so don't do that. We've seen people, like literally one person got in trouble because they were living in. They were telling someone, I just fell asleep working. Yeah. He said, you fell asleep right on this bed, right?
Yeah, I was comfortable.
and then he was then they were telling the owner of the guy that it's just been so hard at home. So you're not gonna be able to sleep in there, and they're not gonna care what the reasons is because there's a lot of liabilities on there.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking that's an option, don't do that on there. But it is a good way to get started and to get into it cheaply. Just once you get above or get towards 800 to 1,000 square feet, you might want to look at the other options that we have right here. And there's no bathrooms on there for most places. As I said, my mom down in Tampa has set up one place that does have that, but that's pretty rare. And from when I looked in winter, we looked at like hundreds of places, and the majority of them didn't have any of those things. We just lucked out that someone just didn't pay their rent, and then she was able to move in on there. But it's pretty straightforward. They are less lenient on the bill stuff. If you don't pay by the first, your stuff I have on the second, you will have the locks on your thing.
Yeah.
But it's still a good option to start off with if you don't have space at your house, or if you don't have the money to go in and get a full warehouses. I would say that, especially on the cheaper side, when you get the lower side, if you just got chairs and tables or some throne chairs, and you want to just put them in a storage, just so you can have the space, perfect. Go ahead and do it. For me, we need to store. We had the trailer, the 2 trailers at the time in there. Plus, when agent go, so now we had 3 trailers, and we can put 3 trailers in there. It would take too much space up in there, so it just didn't work out the best for us on there. On that for that specific solution, but I do think it's a good option to run through if you're in an apartment on there. Just these whole reason is for there's no excuses why to go back through. Now the next step is a step we kind of spent the most time in, because we kind of grew out of that step in the first 4 or 6 months, something like that, all that, and then we moved into Irvin, which is the warehouse. Hit me up with the pros, Eddie.
All right, the pros. Large space.
Large space.
Usually the most spacious option.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the sky's the limit. As much as you want to pay, as much as you'll get.
Yeah, and the bigger the space is, the less it costs per square feet. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, accessible, usually during normal business hours and with potential for extended hours during events.
Yeah, so you can go there anytime you basically want to.
Yeah, you have the key.
Yeah, it's your stuff. Now, some places are in business parks. Like when you first start off, you'll get in a place that's in a business park, and then like we like our urban spaces or our Frisco space, and they have time limits, or like the Frisco has a gate and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's not really like time limits, but you have to share space with other people.
Yeah.
And parking spaces, and that comes to a whole nother thing if you're going to have a lot of vehicles and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Because if not, you can make enemies really quick with your neighbors.
And people start telling on you for things,
mm-hmm.
and acting all crazy and stuff. But so that is one option on there. So you have business parks, you have standalone buildings. We haven't had a fully standalone building yet, but the Dallas one that we're moving into is basically a standalone building that's still inside our business park, but we have dedicated parking, we have a dedicated enclosed space, and we have dedicated front parkings as well. And a building's not attached to nobody, so we don't have to share any space with anybody.
Yeah.
Which works out if you just to do more things.
So we party at night?
Yeah.
I'm just fine.
You have less issues that happen there. But that's another one?
Next one, it says potential equipped with loading docks, makes it easy to move equipment in and out. My favorite.
Yeah.
This is very important.
You can have a loading dock, or you can, because like when you get, you know what I'm talking about, when you get bigger and you get all dock high vehicles, mm-hmm. even with the loading gates, it's so much easier just to put, like nothing beats just pulling straight up to and just rolling the stuff in.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that'll probably be the next warehouse that we get, which after this one, we're going to build one. So we're going to do it with everybody so everybody can see it. After we get through this Dallas one, we'll probably have at least 3 or 4 loading docks, and then some great level door stuff too as well.
Yeah. On the cons, it says it's expensive to rent, especially for long-term rentals.
Yeah. So this is more expensive if you're renting this versus buying it. That's basically what we're trying to say.
Yeah. And generally it's like from 3 to 5 years, right?
Yeah,
the
3 to
terms.
5, almost 6.
Yeah, so you better make sure you make those payments.
Yeah. They'll take care of stuff eventually, but it takes a lot more time, and it's not like they can just kick you out the next day either, and you have a contract. And all your price changes are already negotiated into the contracts.
Yeah. It says for the cons, it says accessibility is limited and might require additional planning for events. Equipment transportation, as warehouses are typically not located in convenient locations.
Yeah, so this is more based on the smaller side of things. A lot of the smaller ones, like just accessibility of getting into like a business park, is usually harder because you see like our back alley, you can't really back into that.
Oh, like the hole where you can load all the stuff?
Yeah, you load everything up in there.
And on top of that, we had to build a ramp that we have there currently.
We had to build that in there. How much did it cost to build that?
I think it was like $130.
Oh, it's not too bad.
No,
It's pretty good.
The most expensive thing was the blade I used to cut the asphalt that they had right there.
I thought you got that for fun.
Yeah, I love toys.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, it says not always climate controlled.
Yeah, so if you're sensitive and you need
Where
everything.
Employees are like, I'm cold.
Yeah, you're going to have to put stuff in there. The
Yep.
bigger you get, the less of any of these are issues, because we have one that it doesn't have, what do you call it? It's not AC, but we do have heaters in there.
Yeah.
So that works out and on there, but you It's not gonna be like how you are if you go to get a place that's that's climate controlled. It's gonna feel good all the time. It's gonna feel like a warehouse. If you don't know what that feels like, it's gonna feel like whatever it feels outside, but a little bit hotter or a little bit colder, depending on what's the time frame.
Let's see. Additional costs for utilities if the warehouse is not fully equipped.
Yeah. So if you don't have, if you don't I think all the warehouses that we have, you have to pay water. I mean, you don't have to pay water. Water is included. But some places have it where electricity is included. Some places have it where one of our warehouses has it where the trash is included.
Yeah.
And which one's
that one? Irving?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then Frisco doesn't have. I don't know how we even survived over there with no trash.
I know how. We've been using other people's trash can.
Oh my gosh! Don't be those people.
Thank you.
We have the people here doing that stuff here, and it's like literally it's like instant karma.
The tables have turned.
Yeah. and the trash can things don't even cost that much. They were like $100 for a 4-yard.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was like $190, something like that.
190?
No, 100 or 90, somewhere around there.
Oh, I say, okay, then we get 2 of them. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So you have to weigh that stuff too as well. But you just got to think about it. Now, if you're in a position, if you've already been doing this right here, then you need to go ahead and you can really look into building one of these. So I really look at building something exactly what you need, having like an outside port if you have people coming up and doing customer pickups. If you have dock hire vehicles or plan to have dock hire vehicles or want stuff delivered straight to your warehouse, you should at least have 1 or 2 of those. You can get those set up. We're going to spend a lot of time kind of going through our wants and needs as we get out of this, because the next warehouse we want to do, we want to own the ground of the warehouse. Because if we're paying this much in rent, that means that we could have been putting the same amount of money towards another property. And I looked at like the rent that we were doing on our storage. It said we can get like a $2.4 million property.
Mm-hmm.
And why not just own that property? So that's like, once we get out of this thing, I think we're in there for like 60 months or something like that, 66 months. Whatever, that's a long time now thinking about it. But once we get out of that, I would like for us to build ours, and we can build it out. We can show everybody and get it, done just the way we want it to. Buy a piece of land. I see a lot of stuff just in the Dallas area that we can just scoop up, and we can just build something exactly how we want to.
One thing I don't see in here,
what you
might have to add, but like I think like a lot of new people coming into this, like the warehouse, like they don't know about like triple net and stuff like that. So it's very important because they might be like, oh, triple net sounds good, and then just sign.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, wait a minute. You said it was going to be $1,000. Why is it $1,800 now?
Yeah. Okay, that's actually good. We need to put that in there. This will be in here when you're watching this. So on TripleNet, TripleNet is basically you have to pay taxes, insurance, and then you have to pay any other
maintenance and stuff like that.
Maintenance on there.
Yeah. So if they decide, you know what, I want to repaint the whole thing. That gets like distributed like across the board. Or if you're the only property, then you get ready. You're about to pay for it.
Yeah, pay for it. And then also too, when you do these commercial leases, they're not the same as regular leases. Like a regular leases, if the AC goes out, the owner pays for it. If the AC goes out here, you're expected to pay for it. So that's like, even like in this venue right here, we got a brand new AC because you want to try to negotiate some of that stuff in there, or at least negotiate some type of servicing in there, because like if the stuff goes out, you have to pay for it.
Yeah. Like
anything that goes out is on you. Like only thing they focus on is the actual the base of it, like the actual structure. Mm-hmm. And you still have to hold insurance even though you're paying for the insurance, which I know it doesn't make any sense. And you can't use the insurance either.
That's highway robbery.
It is highway. So don't think about. So you still got to get some type of commercial property insurance.
It's usually like $1 million, right?
Yeah. So you have to get something like that. So even if you don't think you might need it, or you think because they said that you're paying insurance, that you're paying for their insurance, not yours. And so there's like a triple net model, and then there's like this is the price model of everything. And then if you have additionally to do anything like electricity, internet, or gas, because you're gonna have to pay for that if you need that too as well. And that's on both of them. The first one is like a fixed price. Like our Irving warehouse, we pay a fixed price that includes water, trash, and then the rent, and then the maintenance technically. But that place does not look as good as the triple net place that has a gate.
Well, I don't know. They just started painting everything, so like it's looking a lot nicer. And usually nobody does it out of the kindness of their heart. They're probably gonna move to like a triple net, and it's like, all right, here goes the notice, guys.
Yeah.
Another thing that we didn't mention about the triple net is The property value, if it goes up,
Oh, your taxes.
the taxes go up, then the tenants, everybody starts paying more. So let's just say it was originally valued at $1 million. The city looked at it and said, "Oh man, we haven't looked at this thing in like 10 years."
Yeah.
It's now valued at like $2 million. So now like the taxes on that is going to be way higher. So it's split across the board, or if you're the only property there, then you're going to be stuck with the bill. And this can raise it up, by a couple hundred, or it can even, be upwards even more than that. But yeah, just one thing to take in consideration, location. Oh, you're pulling one up?
Yeah. So I'm gonna do this. So this is the Frisco. So we pay $1,995.63 for that's just the rent. That only covers just your rent payment.
Yeah.
And then for CAMs is what they call it, and all these are estimate. So at the end of the year, if it's more or less, they might give you money.
I've never seen them give us money.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it was perfect.
But we usually they just add it to the bill, and it's only like $20.
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy. The cams are $650. So we were sold on this at first that this was going to be, and we've been here for a while, so that's why the price went up. When we sold it first, it was like $1,800. So, okay, that's good. It's a good price.
You can do that.
I mean, we got the first one, and then it was like,
hey,
this is like $2,700. What the?
Something's wrong here.
Yeah, and then that's when we got a lesson, right?
Yeah. So take that in consideration, about those cams and all the other good stuff, because it could increase the price.
Yeah, significantly. Oh, or at least, what is that, a third? Yeah. So by like 25 cents to a third is going to be other price.
But the good thing is you can write this kind of stuff off. Like, you're more good at that.
Yeah.
Can we do the same thing with the storage unit?
Yeah, you can write everything. Anything you spend as a business expense is going to be written off. And yeah, you can still be able to write this off, but it's just different, because when we first started out, you had a fixed rate cost. You didn't have to really worry about, paying anything more. And now that we have to, do that, even though we've been doing it for over 2 years, but yeah. And then the new place, so like when I look at the price of it now, I don't even look at the price of what it says for rent. I only look at what the price with the triple net added on there, because like the new place we were at is like $7-something thousand, but the actual price for the actual thing is like a $10,000 and some change. So that's a $3,000 difference in the cams right there.
Yeah.
So I don't even we both don't even look at like whatever the rent's supposed to be. We don't even ask them. We say, what's the triple net cost?
Yeah.
So we know. And then hopefully, since we're paying this much triple net and we're paying for this much maintenance, since we have a single building, we should see this stuff being done.
Yeah.
So that's going to be very interesting, because before it's kind of dispersed across things. And the new place has a new owner that owns the place in there. But I'm like really excited for when we get out of this and we build our own place.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be challenging, I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to start building. It's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like,
yeah, we're going to have a ground opening.
My uncle helping him build.
We're going to have a ground opening and stuff. It's going to be nice to get a big place. And then I know for us, we're probably going to buy enough acreage where we can build our place and then throw some other units in the front.
That'd be cool.
So we can, might as well help the businesses out. Hit them with a quadruple net.
You're gonna remake the system.
Yeah, remake the system. But other than that, that's pretty much everything you kind of need to know. You have to pay your utilities. There's triple net. There's a fixed cost model too as well. Some places have like shared spaces where you can pay like a community fee, kind of like a HOA and stuff like that. That stuff we worked in there. They're gonna pay to do the grass. If not, then they'll tell you paint, stuff like that. If you damage anything, you still have to pay it. If you need to use insurance, you can't use it because insurance is not for you. So you need to have your own insurance on there across the board, no matter if you have it in your own house or anything. Because if your house burns down and you have $100,000 worth of equipment in there, and your house insurance is only for, whatever the personal belongings is, you're not going to get nothing. You're not going to be able to get none of the stuff. So make sure you have insurance across your stuff. But this is a general basics. It's really 4 models. You can use your garage, your personal space with your shed. You can rent a storage unit, multiple different sizes. Some are even like warehouses. You can rent a warehouse, or you can go out and you can purchase a warehouse or build your own warehouse.
Yeah.
If you had the possibility, I would look at building on there. We're going to walk you through the journey. If we go through it over the next couple of years, it'll be pretty interesting. And I think we'll be building a lot of these in the future with these new things we got going.
Yeah.
But like I said, again, you can find all this in the ultimate checklist. So you can go through it. You can make sure you get the right warehouse on there. Eddie's gonna put a little more stuff inside of here so we can get more in detail over triple net, and we're gonna go over all the costs and stuff associated with it. So download that. Look in the first comment. There'll be a link there in the description. You have to email it, so just use the link. But other than that, I'm Xavier Kelly.
I'm Eddie Salcedo.
We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.